Hi, I'm Greg Pelican. I'm the marketing manager for Trek Bicycle Stores of Florida. And I'm here with Mike Russo, and we have a great story we want to share. So Mike, how has cycling changed your life?
Well, it's been a totally new gateway to fitness. It's taken me from somebody that had trouble walking a mile to somebody that will go out and ride 100 miles. It's a whole day of activity instead of just the thought of dreading walking to check the mail. It's totally opened a whole new world to me.
So I know you're really into it. So how long have you been seriously cycling?
Well, I bought my first bike December 24th of 2018. I only know that date because, being a typical male, I had not finished my Christmas shopping yet, was out at the very last second, walked into the store and walked out with a bike that day, my first hybrid bike.
So that's crazy. That's only like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so how many miles a week are you riding now, like roughly?
Probably averaging somewhere around 150 to 200.
Wow.
Depends on the week. Some weeks more, some weeks less.
Yeah. So, you wouldn't know it, but 2 years ago, how much did you weigh?
Well, I started off, the heaviest I was 396 pounds. That's the heaviest recorded number we had.
Oh my God.
I'm now literally half the person I used to be.
So you lost like 200 pounds?
Yeah.
In 2 years?
Well, really in a year. Right? The weight came off in about a year, and it's pretty much stayed off in the past year.
That's incredible. So was this a combination of diet and exercise?
Yeah, it was definitely some of both. So this is actually the second time around. I actually lost all the weight once. I did it all wrong. I followed a pre-planned and a nationwide program that was great to get the weight off. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, once the weight was off, I had no idea what to do to keep it off.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing enough activity. So this time around, I actually got the help of a dietitian.
Yeah.
I figured out how to eat correctly. I got into more activity instead of just having the same thing I did over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So now there's a combination of activities that all work together to not only take the weight off, but to keep it off.
That's fantastic. So how do you make that transition? How do you flip that switch or dive in the pool and just start like this exercise program and changing your life?
Well, the thing is, everything has to be gradual. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's a big mistake a lot of people make.
Right.
They think they need to get from point A to point Z without doing all the other spaces in between.
Correct.
So for me, it really was a matter of, okay, let me get to the point that I can walk that mile.
Right.
Okay, well, the mile turned into 3 miles. Well, then the 3 miles turned into the 10,000 steps a day. Yeah. And I could track that information. I could see that I was achieving this or not achieving this or whatever. And for me, being a very data-driven person, that was good to be able to see the progression happening.
Right.
But I also really had the advantage, as I got into other activities, of using that data to build on other data so that I wasn't overdoing it and burning myself out. That's another problem that I see a lot of people go through. They struggle with wanting to do too much too fast.
Right.
I vividly remember the day I could ride 10 whole miles without having to stop. Now, granted, once I hit that 10-mile mark, I had to pull into somebody's driveway and stop. But I mean, those progressions make a big difference.
So now, you've gone over 100 miles, I've seen on Strava, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100-mile ride's not a big deal anymore. The most I've done is I've done 140 in a day before. That was
and most of that cycling gain in 1 year is phenomenal. I mean, just to think about that.
Yeah. But it's all little steps.
Yeah.
You start with
that's great advice.
10 miles and 25 miles and 30 miles and just keep building.
So how has Trek helped you along this way, in this path?
Well, the biggest thing for me with Trek was the people. When I walked into the Trek store in December, Ed met me inside the door within about 10 feet. I found somebody that was very easy to talk to, and he found out that I really wanted a bike to just be able to ride to work.
Yeah.
So he gave me 2 options. I asked him questions. He said, listen, it's a lot easier for you to understand the answers to your questions if you just go ride the bikes. So he handed me a helmet. He sent me on my way. I almost crashed into the bushes at the store. So I mean, literally, this was starting from trying to remember how to ride a bike all over again. and I went out and rode 2 bikes around Naples Park.
Yeah.
And he was right. I came back and go, okay, I understand the difference. I picked a bike, and then probably within 30 days or so, I had signed up to do the 30-mile route, the Tour de Cape.
Yeah.
It took me almost 3 hours to do 30 miles. It was now looking back quite pathetic, but then I was so proud of myself. And that started the progression of being able to go back into the Trek store and say, okay, this bike was perfect. It was exactly the right thing to buy December 24th. Now it's 2 months later.
Yeah.
I want to go faster and I want to go longer. So what's the right progression? And we traded in one bike, and I came out with a fitness endurance bike instead of a hybrid. And then the road bike came 3 months after that. And then I bought a tri-bike that was too small in December and made you make it work anyway. And now we're up to the Cadillac here of speed and comfort. So it's the people that made the progression work correctly for me, and were great about stopping me from making mistakes.
For sure. So do you feel better after losing all this weight and cycling? I mean, how was your day? Like, just is it better?
Well, so before I lost all the weight, I had really bad sleep apnea. I was taking medication for diabetes, taking medication for high blood pressure. I didn't sleep well at night ever, even with the CPAP mask. Now I don't need any of that stuff. I can get a good night's sleep almost every night without any problems. My energy level is so much higher. I still will fight fatigue because I'm trying to do more and more and more
Right.
stuff, but now it's the fatigue that I can go to somebody in the community and say, I'm really tired, I'm doing all of this, and somebody will have advice on how to manage that.
Yeah.
It's very different than when I was exhausted just because I got up and had to manually turn the TV on. So my whole life is different. I mean, walking the dogs now is no big deal. I look forward to that.
Yeah.
Before I used to dread it because I'd go outside to be a sweat bath. 400 pounds just doesn't take much to completely wear you out.
Yeah.
Now it's amazing how short the day feels because you can do so much more in it.
That's excellent. Well, you're an inspiration, and I hope this video inspires lots of other people to get started in cycling and take that first step. So keep it up, and congratulations.
Thanks so much. Great talking to you.